It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Good evening. Looks a little different tonight. Gary is gone. Derek is gone. But I needed some backup, so I brought in the CFO. So we should have a little different show. It's going to be harder for her to bully me online when she's sitting right next to me.
I don't think so.
Actually, it may not be harder. But one screen, we'll see how it goes. So we're going to try to do the chat room at the same time. That's normally my job. But it'll be interesting, a little different. But what we're going to talk about tonight actually fits in. People in the chat room are already talking about it.
They just didn't know they were talking about it.
They saw the title of the show.
Yeah.
So we're talking about getting back on track. So to do that, I thought I'd bring in the CFO. She's the one that keeps us on track, even though she has not done her job recently.
Yeah, because I'm not on track right now.
I know, we're all off track,
Yeah.
but we'll get to that. But we also want to hit the news. And I'll even do the right news thing. And you get to do the news tonight.
I'm going to start the news. You
Okay, hold on. Wait. You got to wait for a really cool bumper first.
Oh, okay.
You weren't ready for the bumper.
So
you weren't ready.
No, I wasn't. I don't understand the bumper thing. You got to tell me what I'm supposed to do.
It's the news. That's the news, like the dee thing.
See, look, you get all this fancy stuff and you think you're like a pro.
I'm not, because normally Derek's behind the scenes doing that stuff. So
no, where's Derek? When we
I just get to act stupid.
Okay, so I'm reading the first news. All right, so Waymarkly. Tell us about Waymarkly, Jesse.
I think you can.
I can tell you that it is available to purchase for $4.99.
It is.
And it is for iOS only. And we are going to use it next week when we're out of town.
Right. So waymarks have been around for a long time. We found several in the past, as many people have, and a lot of people lost interest in them because it's kind of a different site. It was all separated.
Look. No, put that back up there.
Oh.
That's exactly how much Jesse's worth. $4.99.
Wow. But Waymarkly, obviously, it was made by Nick from Cachely. So you know the app is going to be good. We went out and we looked at it a little bit this weekend, looked around town to see some. We had already found a lot of them in our town. So next weekend, we're going to be in Vegas visiting our daughter for 4th of July. And we thought we'd go a little crazy out there because we've never done waymarks out there. And there's tons around Vegas. There's hundreds. We'll never get to do them all. But it looks pretty simple. It seems to work like the other apps. I don't know if you've tried it out or not yet.
I think it'll be good because I feel like we used to do waymarks. And then you kind of stopped doing waymarks because it was hard.
You know why we did waymarks? Do you remember?
No.
There was a challenge. You can't currently make a challenge with waymarks in it, but there was a challenge for like 400 waymarks.
So you just stopped when you met the challenge?
You know, I'll be honest, I didn't like them.
Oh.
I didn't like the waymarks. Now, because the site was so clunky and you had to go to this weird website to do it, it wasn't updated. There was no way to do it through the app. So I didn't really like it as much, but now the app works just as good as Cachely or doing a regular cache or a lab cache. So I'll give it a try again. The only downside about waymarks to me, I mean, they're different, right? But I can't say anything because we love the lab caches too. And I didn't think we were going to, is that it doesn't give you a smiley. So it doesn't count for any smileys, but they have their own total and game and stuff like that. So, there's somebody that has been playing the waymarks. Found 50 in just a few days.
Look at Kim, found 50. Wow.
Signed a challenge I've been working on. I can't help but wonder what might be next.
Now that's crazy because I know when we were looking for them before, like it's unfathomable to me that we could have found 50 in a few days because they were so hard. So this speaks volumes to this.
Because you can do it immediately. You don't have to come back and do it. Yeah, absolutely.
So that lends credibility to this app for sure.
And I like what Kim said. I wonder what might be next. If they're revamping it, it seems like they're going to try to tie it in at some point, right? The waymarks are there's so many, and you can have 4 or 5 at one location. At least you used to. I don't know if it's like that now. In general, you take a picture, give your comments on it. And a lot of them are a lot older, so they've been around for a long time.
Kim says the 50 she found were a few years
Yeah,
old.
But there's definitely, you know what? We're going to make one when we're out in Vegas too. We'll put a new one out.
Interesting. Look, why are you
so we'll do. I keep looking at you.
I know. Look at me.
But we will try it and we'll report back. Hopefully, if y'all have been trying it too. Yes, the website was horrible in the past, but they're updating it. So hopefully they'll do something new with it. And there's actually a scavenger hunt type game in it that's different.
Well, that'll be fun.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Plus, it's something new. Anything new right now is a good thing. We need something exciting. Okay. What's our next news item?
Next news item. There is no show next week because it will be 4th of July.
There's no Sunday show.
No Sunday show. Sorry. No Sunday show.
Yeah. 4th of July.
4th of July, we will be in Las Vegas.
Yep. Celebrating with our daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, both our daughters. And family.
And families. My sister and brother-in-law will be there too as well. So hopefully you guys are going to be doing something fun. For those of you who don't live in the U.S.,
you can still celebrate 4th of July. It's okay.
It'll be fun.
Celebrate right along with us virtually or whatever else.
That's right. We had that.
Yeah, so no show. We want everybody to have time spent with the family. We're all going to be traveling, and we didn't want to try to force one in and people splitting time and things like that. So spend time with your family. We're all going to be traveling too, so we're going to enjoy it. And it's Vegas. Vegas 4th of July should be a lot of fun.
They're going to have fireworks on the Strip this year, which they've never had. They had fireworks on the Strip for New Year's Eve, but they had to cancel last year because of COVID. But this year they're going to do it for 4th of July, so this will be a new thing. Direwolf says the Brits will be demanding a show. Oh, man.
Well, if we can find somebody to come on that night, they can do it. I will not be there. I will be celebrating the holiday. Okay, what else? You got the next one?
Right in the Rain. There is a discount code that is back. So there's your code, Geocache 21. It starts on July 1st, ends on August 3rd, 20% off your orders.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah, so most or all of July, and it ends right after August starts. If you haven't bought any recently, obviously 20% off is huge. They have all kinds of deals. If you're putting caches out, you can't do anything but Right in the Rain. They are the best. They're the standard. It's much better than a little Walgreens receipt like we've come across a couple times.
Well, even if you're not, like you bought, I know the last order you had like the steno pad size, and we just had it in the car using it, and the paper and the pen. You got the pen too. It was really nice. I liked it.
It is. We use them for a lot of stuff, not just geocaching. There's actually things that we do that aren't geocaching related.
That's crazy. I know.
We got to stop that. Okay, but get your Right in the Rains. I just had one go missing recently, but we'll talk about that later too.
Are you going to talk about that now?
Maybe, but that's part of the show, so we'll talk about that later. Okay. Right. But it's a nice notebook. It only used 2 or 3 pages got used of it, but that's okay.
Somebody's using it. Maybe that's the thing. You got to think about it like someone out there is getting joy.
Maybe they needed it better than we did, or needed it more than we did.
Maybe so.
Okay, let's move on. Let's get into the show because many of us may need this. Some of us don't. Some of us skated right through COVID and never hit a bump in our geocaching world or life or whatever. We are not in that crowd. We had quite a bump. And so we're talking about getting back on track. And we've all mentioned that over time. And for those of you that have been caching a long time, you know that you go through slumps and you go through ups, maybe. Do you want to say ups? But where you really just caching all the time. You're obsessed with caching. Everything's going great. And then you maybe do a streak, and then you don't want to cache at all for another month. Who knows? It could be a lot of things. But we're going to kind of talk about that tonight, and then maybe how to get back on track. We're talking about Brits demanding a show on 4th of July. There's got to be a joke. There probably is a joke, but if I made it, it'd be we might lose our family friendly stuff and some of our British
don't
people. So I won't do it.
Don't
Okay.
make mentions.
But so we're going to talk about that tonight. That's going to be our topic. But since Gary flaked out on us, just kidding. He's traveling with family.
He's visiting family.
And Derek is doing stuff with family too. I thought I would bring in my favorite co-host, the CFO. And
favorite. Gary, did you hear that? If you're out there watching, Gary, did you hear that?
He's not watching. He's with family, so we can say anything we want tonight.
Well, when he listens to this on playback.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
He'll hear.
Okay. But since you've never officially been on here as a co-host,
I've been a guest.
You've been a guest. Definitely on Podcast of Hope. You've been a guest on a couple other shows too.
I have. I was a guest on this show before you were a host.
Yes, but not before I was a guest.
And I took over, me and the wives took over another show once.
What show was that?
That show's not on the air anymore. But
okay.
But that's not why it's not on the air. What
yeah, you crashed the show.
But
it was so bad.
Yeah, me and 3 other geocaching wives did take over a show, so that was fun.
Okay.
So I had a little experience with this whole podcast world. Not bumpers, apparently, but
Yeah, you don't know the fancy graphic stuff that Derek made.
I don't.
Okay, so since you're officially a co-host, we have to kind of introduce you to people.
Okay.
You do more than just bully me in the chat room.
But that is fun.
That is fun for you. So let's start from the beginning. We don't have to do your first geocache ever because we've gone over that. It was with me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But just give us everybody's heard mine a million times. What is your just your thoughts on geocaching? Like, we've been geocaching now, since 2011? 11?
Mm-hmm.
Officially since
since we were in
one
Colorado,
more, but yeah, 2011. So 10 years, I guess now. Oh, we have an anniversary coming up.
Ooh.
Geocache Wives of Colorado new podcast.
Oh,
there you go.
Wow.
So,
Dave, I don't know.
What are your thoughts overall, kind of on geocaching? Maybe not as recently, but just throughout the years, how it's kind of played into our family.
It definitely has evolved with our family from when we first started. I know Jesse's told this story 1,000 times, but we first started because we moved out here to Colorado. We didn't know anybody. We didn't know the area, and we were broke. So it's like, what can we do with our kids that wasn't going to break the bank and would kind of help us learn the area? So we did start geocaching, and it kind of evolved into, the caching part was fun for me, but I think the most fun part for me early on, and maybe even to this day, was the social aspect in the events. We are so lucky and grateful that we have such a very active and involved geocaching community here in Colorado, and particularly up in northern Colorado where we live. So one of the first things we did was start going to this monthly dinner event that we have, and we met some really amazing people that we're still really good friends with now, 10 years later.
Most of our friends are through geocaching.
Absolutely. So that was just that was a huge win for me as far as geocaching. And then the other thing that we have really used it a lot for over the years is we really incorporated it into our travel. So now any kind of travel we do, whether it's together or separately, includes geocaching. Mm-hmm. So there have been times where I've been on work trips and I have had colleagues out with me looking for geocaches. I've been on girl trips. As a matter of fact, I went on a girl trip back in 2020, right before COVID, to Vail with some friends of mine from high school that I had not seen in 15 years. And guess what? We found a geocache in Vail, and there's a picture of us doing it. We did another.
Have you checked in to see if they found any since then?
I don't know that they signed up for an account or anything.
Oh,
so.
Okay.
I did another girls trip with my girls and my best friend from back home, who we've been friends since we were babies, and her girls. And I made them pull over in Alabama on our way to Florida because we needed that state, and we got a geocache in Alabama. So it definitely has trickled into kind of our life as far as travel is concerned. Our kids have kind of weaved in and out of geocaching. But, and we say they've weaved in and out. I mean, you guys know, especially when you get teenagers, mom and dad just aren't cool anymore. Nothing you do is cool.
Right.
But our oldest, I was out in Vegas in the middle of COVID trying to help her get situated into a new apartment, and, nothing was open. So she suggested, hey, let's go geocaching. So we went caching, just she and I. So Yeah, they kind of weave in and out, but I feel like we've geocached so long that it's sort of like a staple for them. Like they expect it. And I don't know, which is kind of cool. I don't know. It's
well, if you think back on it, so the last 11 years, but geocaching has really become, it's part of the fabric of our family.
Absolutely.
And if you think about it, we've been through good and bad times, right? Like our kids, like one of our kids has graduated. She's in college. When she was on her national championship, she was getting her first national championship. Geocaching was part of that weekend.
As a matter of fact, she is out of town right now, like fulfilling a childhood dream. She is in St. Louis watching the gymnastics Olympic trials, which is like a huge deal for her. I'm going to text her when we're off the show and remind her that she needs to find a geocache.
She does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good point. We cache as a family. We'll kind of mention that too. Because we don't care about statistics and we don't care who cares about our statistics. We just like to play and have fun. But yes, we did help out at Geo Woodstock in Colorado. The whole family did that. Oh, look at this. You're losing.
I know, but I'm telling you.
The CF. You used to have it many years ago.
I still have the twang, but it only comes out when I get really mad or really, really excited or just chaos is ensuing.
Well, just thinking about it, so how it's kind of weaved itself into the fabric. If you think back to all the things that have happened the last 11 years, we've had pets that have passed away. They cached with us, so that's kind of part of their thing too. We have a lot of photos of them because of that.
Yeah.
I finished up my law enforcement career, got huge surgeries coming off of that. Caching is what kind of got me off the couch.
We found a cache on the way to the surgery center for your hip replacement.
We sure did. If you think back, not that it was all about caching, but caching is just something we've done for so long as a family. Fake hips and cancer and people passing and animals passing, everything else. It's such, and dates and everything. It's such a part of our life. There's no segment of personal milestones that didn't include that also.
That's true. It's become something that we kind of bookmark things throughout life with, I feel like.
I do. Because we can always we can mark that spot with a certain thing. And like we've mentioned on the show before, but last year we bookended the whole year with a national championship at the beginning and family time for New Year's Eve for, it was another milestone at the end.
We found number 9,000 in Florida at Cheer National Championships and number 10,000 in Las Vegas on New Year's Eve.
On a hike.
And both of those things, well, the oldest daughter, she wasn't really with us in Florida because she was doing the national.
Well, we were there with her for the weekend. Yeah.
So it was family bookends. So I think that's kind of how I view geocaching. Those are my thoughts. To me,
started off as a little game and became
it did
character of our family.
And it's a little different between the two of us. For me, it is more like bookmarking things or going to amazing places or making sure we find a cache when we travel to a new place. For you, you're definitely more in the nitty gritty.
A little more competitive on the competitive side of it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hitting the milestones, challenges, traveling, stuff like that. All right. So, best and worst. What do you like best about geocaching? What is the worst part of geocaching for you?
All right. So my favorite thing about geocaching, and I already mentioned it, are hanging out with other cachers at events. It's one of my absolute favorite things. Geocachers are some of the nicest people, honestly. Just good people. If there was an emergency out in Las Vegas and Hallie needed something and I knew I couldn't get there for 36 hours, I would have no qualms about putting out an SOS on the geocaching.
Oh, yeah.
Just good people.
And as we travel, and we love to travel, so one of our biggest things that we like to do is travel, right? Anywhere we go, if you see somebody and you realize they're a geocacher, you don't have to worry about talking to them. You can instantly talk to them about whatever, and you'll have a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Ryan said he would fly there.
I know.
I know you would, Ryan.
I know you would, Ryan, and that's why I love you so much. When we were moving Hallie to Las Vegas, Ryan made sure to tell us, you tell Hallie if she needs anything, let me know. Ryan's such a good guy.
And we only know Ryan because of geocaching.
Because of geocaching. It's the only reason we know. We know Ryan because of Moga and how we met him. We met him through Moga when he hosted that Moga night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's I love travel and I love the people that you encounter when you go caching.
So we'll separate this out. The worst part of caching, and then we'll save your pet peeves for a little bit because you have some funny ones.
Well, that's hard though because I feel like those pet peeves are the worst part of geocaching.
Well, I'll say what I've heard you say. So your best and worst are actually the same.
Oh, okay.
There's great people in geocaching, but I know it really disappoints you when you come across somebody that's not a good person that's a geocacher.
Okay, yes. But having said that,
it's rare.
Those are rare.
But it really upsets you when you meet someone, you're like, why are they even, why?
Yeah.
Just go do some other game.
Well, yeah, just because
But it is so rare. It's rare when you come across that.
And I just feel like it's such a happy, fun thing for everybody to do.
We won't mention those examples.
No, but don't ruin it with negativity. Like, it makes me sad. But anyhow, let's move on. I don't like talking about the negative.
No. Okay. So we kind of touched on this already, but differences between me and you, and as far as viewing caching.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm not a cache hider. It's just
yet.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that later. Okay.
But you love to hide caches.
I love to hide caches, yeah. Maybe more than finding them.
Yeah. There's some things that I don't. Okay. One of the things I am really big on, I'm going to go, and if I'm going to look for a cache, I'm going to look for 5, 10, 15 minutes. And then if I don't find it, I'm okay. Completely okay moving on. You are not. You will sit there forever, to the point the rest of us are in the car like, oh my god.
And that's, I think there's two camps there, right? And I think a lot of people fall into that. I don't know how everybody falls, but when you go and you can't find one, like a nemesis type cache, how some people are very comfortable walking away and going, you know what? I've had enough. That's you. That's
me. No,
I am not. I can't.
You're not.
It obsesses me until I find it.
Now, the flip side of that, though, is I am competitive. So if I see a log where like 4 people didn't find it before me, I'm like, oh, heck yeah, let's go look for that geocache because I want to win.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not gonna sit around for 30 minutes, 45 minutes looking for a cache when I know we could have found 6 more in the time that, we're not gonna find that one.
Samantha's with me.
See you and Samantha.
It drives me insane. Yeah. Now, sometimes I have to, but especially if I know it's there, right? If it's one of those that I don't know it's there, that's one thing. But yeah. Okay. All right. So
pet peeves for her.
Yeah.
I do have some.
So what are your pet peeves? Everybody has them.
So my number one pet peeve is when I'm out finding a bunch of caches, especially if it's like a little power run or something, and there's nowhere to pull your car over.
Oh yeah.
People. It's fine. Hide a cache on a fence post, but give me a pull off because I don't want to get hit by a car. Like I am just willing to keep on trucking.
And we know of some that have been hit by cars.
Yeah, it's just not safe. So just do it when you're hiding a cache. Do it safely. Give people a pull off.
So don't just think about the cache placement. Think about how people are going to get there.
Right. Yes. Exactly. I don't like earth caches at all.
And people have kind of figured out by now. I used to hate them.
And now you love them.
I don't love them.
You like them.
There's a reason why I like them even more now than I used to.
And it's crazy to me because I like science, but for some reason, some of the earth caches can get just really, you know what it is? I know what it is. I'm impatient and I like to find a whole bunch of caches. So I don't want to stop and sit and read like a whole bunch of information on a cache page so I can figure it out.
Well, for me, and people have figured this out now because I used to hate them, and that was true. I really used to hate them, but because they were not what I thought of geocaching. They're not fun anything.
Yeah.
Now I like them because the good ones are in good areas. They usually involve a hike, the ones that I like. And I like publishing them. I've almost published more than I found of those. I do like hiding them even more, right? But it's something I don't know about. And we've been in the game 10 years, and nobody's an expert in geocaching because geocaching changes. You can't know everything in geocaching. But it's a segment that I know extremely little about. So it's a new, challenging thing for me. So that's why I like it.
That is true.
And challenges have always been my favorite. Where it goes are my favorite. Those are always my favorite because, pardon the pun, but they're challenging.
Yeah.
Where it goes, nobody was doing them, so I built those and helped other people build those because they were a lot of fun.
I agree with Scrabble Hounds. Here, put that. I don't know how to make it work.
I got it.
I need to figure out how to control this thing. Yes. I agreed. A lot of the times, like there will be 7 or 8 questions on there, I mean, you literally can sit for an hour trying to figure out and then answer all the questions. So I agree.
So the many questions kind of bother people, it looks like. But when I'm doing a traditional cache, I like 5.5s more than anything, and there's usually tons of reading with those too. But the other reason I like it is there's no container. And you can also do vacation hides, what they call vacation hides. So for us, we like to travel a lot. And you can't really hide a cache on vacation unless you, wink, wink, somebody locally maintains it for you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we've done that, but I'm saying some people have done that, right? I know this local cache, they're going to maintain it for me. We know that's not true. So following the rules, you can hide a earth cache when you travel, and then like you're connected to that location again. And I really like that idea. And you can also require a photo, which I like. That cuts down a little bit on the armchair logging of stuff, which I'm not going to go spin chasing. What? Go ahead.
I agree with Owen too.
What do you say?
There. Yeah, I've actually had an earth cache denied before because I thought it was incredibly hard. I sent in what I thought were the answers. I made an honest attempt.
Hi, Gary.
I made an honest attempt, and then they were like, "Oh, sorry, wrong. Try again." And that just
so that's the other reason. That's another reason why I like hiding earth caches, because I communicate back with everybody that sends an answer in.
You do,
and I've had people. I know, but I'm trying to set the standard for what I think is good. I've had people actually DNF them, and I've reached out to them and convinced them they actually got it right. I helped them walk through it until they got it.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't have to DNF an earth cache. I know there's some situations where you do, but I think it should be fun. It should not be like, oh gosh, I can't figure this out. The owner should help you in that situation, right? And then the other thing is, so there's no container, which I used to not like. Now I like, because one of my favorite challenges I just put out there just got muggled the other day. And I'm so disappointed because, and I don't want to get into a negative thing, but this was a challenge that I had to get permission for from a reviewer. So my reviewer helped, and we did a awesome reviewer, by the way, but we're not going to get into that right now. I always say that. So my reviewer said, I have no idea whether you can do the concept of this. So put it in. I'm going to reject it, and then we'll appeal it to HQ so we can get an answer. Like, they were telling me to do this ahead of time.
Like, you guys worked hard to figure out a way to make this work.
And what it was there was a challenge on it, which the challenge was pretty simple. It was find a geocache every day of the month. I mean, no. Attend an event every day of the month. It didn't have to be in the same year, but, every calendar day of the month. And then there was a lock on it that was a separate puzzle. So to get to the challenge assignment, you had to solve the puzzle or get a hint from a nearby lab cache. Which he said, I don't know if we can do that. We did it. It was good. And we got that hid. It was a ammo can. I got painted up nice and blue, the challenge killer blue. I got a buddy of mine to print a 3D printed white question mark, the challenge logo.
It was really well done.
It was a really neat one. It was hidden in an area. I had permission to hide it there from an owner of the business. And it was hidden pretty well. Obviously not well enough, because I'm going to be nice about this.
Yeah, but how long was it there? I would argue that.
For a while. It was there during COVID too, but over a year it was there. But it got muggled. It's very sad. Right in the rain log, some swag in it. I put a couple of our books in there for first and second to find. It was all the things you're supposed to do. It was a neat location. It was right by a coffee shop where we normally have events.
So your point is, earth caches are great because you don't have to worry about your container getting muggled.
Right. So that's why I put one of those out, and I disable another one of mine because they went missing. I'm like, and I have 4 or 5 non-earth cache types with physical containers that I want to put out, that I've already got permission and everything else, but I'm not in a hurry right now to put them out because they're going to get stolen again. So I'm kind of in that funk, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But so that's kind of why I got into those. Yeah. But okay, moving on past that.
All right.
What's your other?
So my final pet peeve, and I really.
She says dirty words about this one, but we're not going to repeat this on the show.
But I really need to allow some grace for this one. The more I think about it, because everybody caches a little differently.
Yes, true.
So really, I probably shouldn't be so critical. So this is more of a me problem, I guess, really, than everyone else. But remember, I'm competitive. And so whenever we're going for an FTF, I'm like, yeah, I'm so excited. And we get there, nobody's logged it. And you get there and somebody signed the log, but they just haven't logged it online.
Right, because what do we do? Because we're that competitive person. The whole way, whoever's driving, the other person, because of course, whoever's driving would not be on their phone because that'd be illegal. But whoever's not driving is hitting refresh the whole way there to make sure it's not FTF the whole way. Boop, 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 boop.
And like I said, it's more of a me problem because not everybody caches from a smartphone, first of all. Not everybody logs right there in the field. A lot of people cache from a smartphone, but they want to write up an amazing, awesome log. So they'll go do it later on that night. So it's really more of a me problem, but it does drive me crazy.
So what's the most recent, the last time we had that happen? We raced to the next town over is Wellington. We raced to.
Oh,
we raced. Nobody had found this
tree.
cache. It was a puzzle solve. We got there. It was a tree climb. We knew that ahead of time. Got there, got out of the car, ran over there, got to the bottom of the tree, hit refresh. Nobody had found it.
We're like, yes.
Climbed up in the tree and found it. Got to the top. Get ready. I was going to log it from the tree because I wanted to get it so fast. Hit the log. I was not first to find. It showed up while I was climbing the tree. It was.
But it's okay. But you know what? Those are pet peeves, but those are like such small things. To me, all of the other awesome, amazing parts of geocaching make up for those little things that Jesse made me come up with pet peeves.
You may give a confession I've never done before.
What?
So when you start off, everybody does dumb things when they start caching, right? So I can't say that I'm never not mean.
Yeah, you are.
No. I don't know. That was a double negative. Anyway.
It was a double negative. I'm confused by your comment. He is mean.
But I'm not trying to be mean all the time, but I can't say that it never creeps out. So one thing I did one time, we have a competitive area here. We did at least years ago for FTF. There is a group out here that as soon as you get the email, if your tires aren't squealing, you're not getting that FTF. So we had one. I raced out. I knew exactly where it was based on the information. It was a newer park that was nearby. I raced and got it, signed the cache as fast as I could, put it back up there, jumped back in my Jeep, and then backed up about 100 yards down the street and didn't log it.
That's mean. I would never. I clearly was not in the car because I would not.
You weren't. It was just mean, and I waited till the next person raced up and then hit boop and logged it. But there was a long story behind it. There was a bunch of FTF shenanigans going on back then. Are you putting?
No, I'm trying to find. How do I go back up here? Sharon had a good point.
What?
And I've got to find the comment.
There's Sharon's.
Yes, because that happened to you. So they can get muggled.
They can absolutely get muggled.
That is an excellent point, Sharon.
We'll have to do an EarthCast show coming up.
Yes, that's an excellent point.
But and actually, if you live in Colorado, the area can change, and an EarthCast can actually be gone.
Right.
But
that's for another show.
So I regret doing that, but there was a kind of a FTF war going on, and there was a few of us being mean to each other.
That's a whole different.
It's a whole different story. Okay, anyway.
So those are that's a little bit about me and my thoughts.
Yeah.
About geocaching, but go ahead. Do you have another?
No. Let's move on. They know who you are.
Okay, they know who I am. All right, so let's get into the meat of what the show is about tonight, and this is something that you and I have talked a lot about this weekend related to not just geocaching, but with everything. So, we just went through this calamitous 2020, this crazy year that's unlike any other that we all remember anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And now things are starting to open up and things are starting to get, I don't even want to call it normal because it's not really, but things are starting to happen. And then, I don't know, but for me, I found myself very...
COVID was hard.
COVID was hard. And I found that it has affected me more than I realized. I found that I am not... Things I used to do before where I could really multitask and do 20 things at one time. I'm feeling like I'm not able to do that right now. Like I'm not in the habit of doing that anymore. And one of the things I feel like we have kind of put on the back burner lately is geocaching. We're just struggling.
That wasn't the first thing that went away, but I think it's the reason why that went away. Like we mentioned earlier, like geocaching is we've woven into the fabric of our just existence, right? I mean, it's not like a thing we do. It's within all the things we do.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No,
so
you're right. So like
Yeah.
like I was telling Jesse, I feel like we've lost our geocaching fire, like our geocaching mojo. Like we lost it during COVID.
Well,
and,
we can
and
kind of
there was-
dissect why too.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Why did that happen?
Well, the first thing was, and what you mentioned before is, and I think we talked about it before on the show, but we found more caches away from our home than we have in our home area.
Right.
And we talked about this many times, but many people agree with this too. Like, we cache more when we're traveling than we do when we're just at home, because at home we have life and everything else. And
we travel
we found
a lot.
everything around here.
I travel for work a lot.
Yeah.
You travel for work periodically. Our family lives away. We vacation a lot. So travel was just a huge part of our existence.
COVID killed that.
COVID
For a lot of that, we tried to keep it going,
Yeah.
and I had a buddy that also traveled too, and we tried to travel some. And we got 1 or 2 trips in there, but not like we normally do.
Right.
But our family travel pretty much shut down. We
completely,
traveled
just like
for
everybody's.
funerals and stuff, and that was it.
Yeah, just like everyone.
Yeah.
Did that. It just kind of shut down. One of the other things, and I've already brought this up tonight, one of my favorite things about geocaching are the events. Well, those were gone too. The greatest example is this coffee event that you started years ago when we were trying to make our streak.
Somebody mentioned the book club, and we're going to get to that because that's actually one of the positive things.
That's a positive. But you started this coffee event years ago. We were trying to make our streak. And every Monday morning, like clockwork, the same people were there.
We were on our 200th weekly event.
Yes. And then all of a sudden that was just poof, gone.
And that was even, it was geocaching, but you almost kind of forgot it was geocaching until other people showed up, because it was just meeting with friends. And we met every week at, was it 6:30?
6:30.
6:30 every Monday morning. And, it was almost on autopilot.
Well, and that's just one thing. I mean, we go to those monthly dinners up here a lot. And that's how, for instance, one of those monthly dinners, talking to a cacher, is how we found out years ago that Jasmer existed. We would find out about new challenges or new caches in the area. I mean, we planned trips with cachers based off of meetings at events. I mean, how many times did you and Barry come up with your next little road trip based off of talks you had at the coffee event?
I don't think we ever, coffee events definitely were those, but any events we went to, like the monthly dinner events, or Northern Colorado is loaded with events. So we're saturated with them because everybody up here is friends and we love it. It's great. And we go to events all the time, but I don't think, rarely do we ever go to an event and hang out with our friends and not come away with somewhere else we want to go.
Yeah. I mean,
we want to travel somewhere, or even if it's a short trip, we'd always, so that would inspire us every single time. So when those events shut down, it was crazy.
So again, you kind of lost a little bit of your excitement just from not being able to be at events like that.
So did you have to submit that? So that's a good question too. No, the reviewer had us submit it, but we'd submit like a month at a time or 6 weeks at a time. We did it, and it was automatic, and they knew. I mean, they checked every one because we still did it, and the owner knew about it. Obviously, I know the owner personally, and we met there, and it was actually one that we rotated through people. So the reviewer knew they were coming, and they did it about 6 weeks at a time, and every few weeks. I think one time we were running late, and the reviewer actually goes, "Hey, are you still going to submit your event?" Like, they asked if we were going to. He reminded us of it, so it's pretty cool.
So that was something that happened. Another thing that we found were that there were fewer caches being published during COVID. So we cache a lot outside of our home when we travel, but that streak got us because we cached out our area, our area very close. So there were fewer and fewer caches being published. So we found that if we did want to cache, we were having to go further and further to do it. And that was hard when there are no restaurants open. And it was tough.
Well, and just the uncomfortableness too. You go to an area and everybody's masked up, or they're not masked up, or they're looking at you funny, or people are just being weird. And there was just the uncomfortableness. And it's already weird that you're sneaking around doing stuff, but so it was weird for a while.
COVID added a whole other level.
Yeah, a whole other level to the muggle stuff.
Yeah. And then because of COVID also, one of the things that we realized kind of just messed up our routine was that there was no routine. We had no routine anymore. So, Jesse and I, we've talked about this before, that geo dates are a big deal. So we would go on Sundays and go somewhere and find a little power trail and a little diner. And so we started missing those. you and your road trip buddies weren't able to plan the road trip.
We didn't plan big road trips. No, we didn't.
Like you typically do. We would go do some weekend caching trips a lot. We didn't get that done. Our goal last year was to finish the Colorado counties, and we didn't get that done because it was hard to do things in 2020. So, just talking about this over the weekend, we were trying to figure out, why are we in this weird way right now where we feel like we are having trouble getting back into the swing of things with life, personal life, geocaching, and everything. And we kind of came up with, all 4 of those things we mentioned: no events, no travel, fewer caches, lack of a routine. That can kind of bleed over into personal life too.
Before you even get into that, though, there were some other things that it's interesting too that made it so different. So we did cache some. Mm-hmm. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm out of the screen again. So we did cache some during that time, but it was absolutely a departure from what we normally did.
We still made 10,000 in 2020.
Well, and we did that.
But how did we do it?
Lab caches, which is the opposite of how we normally cache. And I know many people in here found tons of lab caches too, and we're well over 600 lab caches now or something like that. But it wasn't our normal standard way. Like we would knock off chunks on the weekends. We, 50, 60, 70 caches on a weekend, and that totals up over the year. It didn't happen that way. We did a lot of lab caches. Barry and I did get to go on one of our trips. So we went on a small trip and got something. We only got a couple hundred on that one. Normally we get thousands.
If it had not been for lab caches, it would have been a really sad 2020 for us as far as geocaching.
Lab caches kept us going for a while. So, but it was that lack of routine. It was the opposite, right?
So now we're into 2021. Things are looking up. Mm-hmm. And we kind of thought, all right, well, this is good. Things are opening. It's going to be great. Mingo happened. Like this is the fire we need to get things going. We went to Mingo. It was amazing. The event went off without a hitch. It was a great time. It was so fun seeing all of our caching friends from all over the country. And then we came home, and did we even find a cache in the month of June? Have we found a cache in the month of June?
I don't know.
If you can't remember.
Well, I know if I found at least one. We got one at Walmart.
Oh, hey, we got one.
We got one or two. Basically non-existent, one or two. But Mingo kind of opened our eyes. We had a blast at Mingo, and we've already talked about Mingo, so we don't get into that. But Mingo was awesome, and it reminded us of what caching was like pre-COVID, because we got to cache. I don't even know that we logged all of our cache from that weekend yet. We had a lot of fun. We got to see people again. It was like real life happening again. But that really also, when we got back home and we went back to this old routine again, it caused us to focus on what had been so different. And we haven't kicked that yet, right?
We haven't. And then we talked about a minute ago that the loss of, like, geocaching is just one example where we kind of lost some motivation this year based off, and I attribute it all to COVID. Health was one of the things. We were doing all of these things during COVID that we thought were the right thing to do. Like when businesses were closed down, we were ordering takeout every night because we're like, we got to support local business. And that backfired on us greatly.
What is it they used to say? Don't go out to eat and you'll lose weight. That's a lie.
Yeah.
That's all kinds of a lie.
You can
stay home and eat and you'll, well, that's not true. 2020
was sad. I mean, you would go to the grocery store, they were out of food. It's like you found comfort in, burgers and pizza and things like that. Gyms were closed. We're big. We like to go work out. So the fact that gyms were closed just kind of really made us.
Well, like geocaching, that's part of our family. Like our daughter goes.
It is.
Obviously, both of our daughters are in sports and they go. That's something that we share. And it was ripped away, right? They were closed, and our gyms were just totally closed. They didn't have the mask thing. They were just totally closed for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of things that aren't geocaching necessarily related. There wasn't.
Nobody gets to see you in a bikini.
You don't want to see that anyway. But I was just thinking the other day, I'm like, I haven't went out shopping and bought clothing in forever because I don't go anywhere.
Because clothing
was nowhere to go.
I don't know how that affected everybody else, but I mean, my standard clothing was sweatpants for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, other things, health was just one piece of it. Just self-improvement, like learning. Kids were out of school. Our daughter.
Yeah, Coon and Bud, he made it possible to geocache and be safe. That's
Well,
why we did it so
and
much.
that was
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
favorite part. I agree with that.
That's how we stay geocaching. We've got so many lab caches.
Yeah, but like kids were out of school. Our daughter can't wait to go back to school next year. People lost jobs. We were sitting at home with nothing to do. So one would think we would have picked up books and really like become prolific readers. And we did with the book club.
So that was a positive. We started the book club and that's staying, and I love it. Anybody that doesn't know, for the patrons, we do a book club. It's once a month and we pick books every month, and they're geocaching adjacent. They're more adventure books than they're always geocaching, right? But, that was one of the only ways we could connect with people regularly. It felt like an event because it was the same regular people over and over. And you got to expand your mind a little bit. So that and lab caches kind of kept us going for a while. So there's ways to do it. But it was battling back and forth. Like I think many people were. There's
this tug, this pull, this push and pull.
And should we even mention like the Tiger King phase? I don't know if anybody here got sucked into the Tiger King phase, which was a horrible, trashy TV show.
I was entertained by it.
Did I say anything false?
Okay, all right.
And you couldn't really get through that without drinking, so that just was made a big old mess.
Yeah. So the point in saying all of these things was that 2020 kind of knocked us all off our rocker, kind of got us all out of this routine and this way of doing things that we were used to it. Then all of a sudden 2021 came. There are vaccines out there. Numbers are going down. Things are opening up. Events are starting to get published. Megas are starting to happen. Travel's allowed again. And I find myself 100% completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're trying to make up for lost time. And we completely, I know I have
doing too much, not getting anything done.
Overprogrammed my entire life. And what has happened? I'm still not, getting out there. We're not having geo dates. We're still not out there getting the geocaches like we wanted. We're not, oh gosh, like I'm reading the book for the book club, but that's like it. We're not reading extra books. I mean, there's so many things that we're not doing that I feel like we used to be able to do and manage all of these things. But now I feel like after a year of not having to multitask like I did, I don't know how to do it anymore.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
So the big thing is, how do we, not only in your life and everybody else, I'm sure everybody's facing a lot of this stuff too. Mm-hmm. And this is probably the biggest one, but we've gone through slumps before.
This is true. And it might happen.
You missed it.
Oh, how do I go back? Okay. Yes. Agreed, Dave. We haven't been to a movie theater.
So that's sidetracked, but Dave mentioned, for the audio listeners, movie nights and date nights. Mm-hmm. We didn't do date nights for the movies, but that was a daddy-daughter thing that we used to do. We had a monthly thing. We go to the movies, and it was great. Like, you can't run this.
I know. Well, it's because it's way over there.
But come back to Kansas for Geo Date. We're going to do that.
We do need to do that.
So how do we... So we've been through slumps before. Never as big as this one, I think, for all life in general. Even though some good things have absolutely happened, right? We've had some great times during COVID. It wasn't like it was miserable. We had some fun times too, but we're not back in the swing of things. So as the title suggests, how do we get back on track? And I don't know if any of you are off track or not. If your geocaching soared during that time, that's awesome. You took advantage of it.
Nick
Some people did,
he had his best year in 2020. That's awesome.
We are wanting to get the fire back, and hopefully this applies to some other people. I mean, hopefully it applies to nobody, and we're the only ones. That'd be awesome. But we know other people. We've talked to other people too that have had trouble getting back in their caching routine and getting a lot of stuff back.
See, that's where I feel like we're going with this. I feel like I did try to kind of get back into my routine of doing everything. And that was one of the things I used to, if you guys know us at all, you know that we go. If you've ever cached with us, you know it's fast. We're moving constantly. So now that we're able to do that again, we're finding ourselves, it's almost like we're stuck in the mud a little bit. Like we don't know how to step right back into it.
Right. You have the desire.
Yeah. I went to Vegas a couple weeks ago to visit our daughter, and I was in the airport, and you can tell people are confused. It's like they don't know how to travel anymore, or you don't know how to socially interact or to do all these things with people anymore. It's almost like we've got to reprogram ourselves. And so when you say get back into the routine, I want to caution and say it's not necessarily going back to the old routine. It's going back to a new routine.
And a better routine. And improving, right? We always talk about improving it. So we came up with an idea, and we hope we're going to share this tonight, and we hope it helps some people that are struggling or that want to really get the fire back or get back on track, however you want to call it. And because we've all had that slumps, and maybe this is something that could be repeated again in the future. But before we get into the idea, we'll tell you where we got the idea. So anybody that has seen our social media, we're on there some. We're not on there as much. We're trying to get back into that because we're trying to.
That was one of those other things.
That's one of the other things we're trying to get back into. So because we connect to people through that, right? So Kristi and I both, we were trying to find something to get back on track. So we picked health first. And
why did we pick health first?
Because it was out of control.
I joked that, yes, there is COVID-19 and all 19 pounds found Kristi out here in Colorado.
I had COVID-42.
You had COVID-42.
So that's different. But so we found this challenge. We hooked up with a gym coach, and we really started attacking that first. And it was amazing because there was a challenge to it. Obviously, we like challenges. We did great. She has done amazing. And I know I'm not allowed to talk about it. You're doing awesome. But she's been doing it since January 1. I was a slow starter. I had totally let myself get crazy. Yes, 42 is the answer to everything. That's a nerd joke. You don't know. Only us nerds know that. I can get you the book, though.
Look,
okay. 42 is also the amount of weight I've lost since January 1. So I ate COVID, I think. I don't know. I ate everything.
I don't know.
But it was not healthy for me. I can make all the excuses I want, but it is what it is. So I've dropped 42 pounds. That was because we got into a challenge.
We did. We got into a health
and focused it and teamed up together.
And we focused and we did team up together. And one of the things we did was try to prioritize things. We chose health, but we did exactly what Dave is saying right here. We kept it simple. We focused on one day at a time with our health. And so we got to thinking, would we be able to take that same challenge type feel about things that we've been tackling our health with and apply that to geocaching and see, hey, does that get us back on track with geocaching? Because we know we love it. It's just diving back in and figuring out how to insert it back into our everyday life. Because right now it's just other things are kind of taking over. So can we use that same challenge approach? And clearly we like challenges. We sort of wrote a book about it.
So
challenges are our thing.
Do you want to mention where we got the inspiration for this one?
Yes. So where we got the inspiration, there is a health, and it's not just
it's a mental toughness challenge.
It's a mental toughness challenge called 75 Hard. So if you've ever heard of it, go research it. We're not going to
super popular. We're not going to get into that.
We're not going to get into the details about it, but that's where we got the idea. Like, hey, how can we potentially maybe apply some concepts over into the geocaching world to sort of get us back on track? Mm-hmm. So what we came up with, are you going to put our little graphic up there?
Are we there yet?
I think we're there yet.
No, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
I already talked about that. We're there.
I'll get there.
We're there. All right.
Okay. All right, now go ahead. You go.
So what we came up with is the Geocache Talk Network, the GTN 45-day challenge back on track.
And we'll explain what that means. But the only reason we have a label for that is because we found having a label for a challenge and a focus helps a lot. Mm-hmm. This is not an official challenge. This isn't anything else. This is just a possible idea of how you might want to get back on track. And we bottled this after what's helped us, and we want to go into all the personal stuff, right? Because we talked about that, but this is a geocaching show. So in our personal lives, health is one. We started doing other things like reading more and doing those things like that. And part of it's a challenge deal. So we want to translate that into geocaching. And so to do that, we kind of split it up.
So we came up with 6 concepts that we felt like really embody what we love about geocaching. And I hope
the aspects that we
really feel like are just awesome about geocaching.
Right.
So these 6 concepts are social. So we love the social aspect.
Absolutely.
Goodwill. I think there's a lot of goodwill in geocaching.
Who is that guy?
Heck yeah.
Levi and his crew are in there. That's my brother, by the way, everybody.
So we said social, goodwill, vision, intellect, health, and character. So we feel like those are 6 really positive aspects of geocaching that we may not always think about, but we're all doing it every day when we're out there attending events and helping new cachers and hiding caches for others. We're kind of embodying all 6 of these concepts. So we wanted to focus on these within this challenge and kind of give everybody some benchmarks or some goals to hit.
Yeah, and now this is it's obviously this is just for us. This is for the people that listen to this. This is for the people that are watching this. This is to hopefully get people fired back up. If you're already fired back up, that's great. It still won't hurt. To get people fired back up, and really all of these things. This is not a competitive numbers challenge. This is something that could be used at any time to get you a kickback off January 1, any other time. We kind of split it up that way. So you want to go through them? Start with the very beginning of social, because that's our favorite.
Let's talk about social. Social is our favorite. So what we are challenging
within a 45-day period. That's the idea of this. Okay. Sorry.
So what we are challenging everybody to do is to do hit these benchmarks for the next at least once during a 45-day period.
Yeah.
So for social, we're challenging you guys to go to one event during the next 45 days, just one. Now, I understand this could be hard because I'm not sure how events are getting published. I'm not sure if they're being published in all areas, but just like Pizza Ninja said, he just attended an event, got him totally fired back up. We went to Mingo. Mingo got us fired up, but we need some more. We need some more fire. So try to attend one event, get out there and be social during the next 45 days. Yeah. One thing I will point out, which this is really cool, our monthly dinners here in Northern Colorado just got started back up. And we went to the one this is June. We went to the June event, and there were a lot of people there, but there were some new cachers there. Some brand new people to the game.
That started during COVID.
So that was inspiring to us.
Oh, yeah. That's a brand new world for them. Yeah, absolutely.
And so we got to chat with people, and we saw one cacher that we probably have not seen. I swear he was probably 14 the last time we saw him. And now he's going off to college. He
was like 6.5 feet tall.
Yeah, he was a man, and he was a little kid the last time we saw him.
So some people aren't still having events. We understand that. So, you can't control that.
You can't control that.
But now we'll add the other difficulty level in this too. So if you have events, go to an event. For some people, that's commonplace. For some people, that's unnerving,
terrifying,
right?
Yeah.
For other people, you may want to host an event. You have plenty of time to do it. A lot of people are sitting on community celebration events, including us. So if you're able to host an event, host one in that 45 days. That'll really get you fired back up. When you host an event, it's so much fun. If you haven't done it, we've done shows on that before.
The other thing I would say, and I hate to say this because I think everyone is out, they're just tired of it. But you know what? If you can't have an event in your area, the patron book club started because we couldn't have events and we wanted to do something great for the patrons. We still have a Zoom book club every month. Do a Zoom event.
Yeah, if you're locked down, you're a patron, log in there.
Yeah. Do a Zoom event.
You don't even have to read a book because sometimes we miss them anyway. So.
Well, not even just, I'm just saying.
Just to have fun. Oh, do a Zoom event. Yeah.
I'm saying do a new event. If you want to have a Zoom event, invite me and Jesse. We'll come to your event. And then that's your event for the next 45 days.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd be happy to help anybody out, especially if you can't host an actual event. Do what you got to do.
Like Nick just said, you don't get a smiley for it, but it is good to see people.
And that's really not what this is about, right? This is about yourself and getting yourself fired back up again. Okay.
Absolutely. So that's social.
Number 2.
So that's social. Number 2 was goodwill. Okay. So we all want to be giving something back, something back to the game that gives us so much. So what we're challenging you to do is to hide or just publish 2 caches in the next 45 days. One of which is something you haven't done before, a cache type you've never published before.
Right. So
now, again, this could be like you've published every kind of cache.
Now, if you published them all, just the type that you publish the least of, right? Whatever that could be. Where I go, Earth Cache, Mystery, Multi. A lot of people are low on multis. But every cache type that's out there, you can publish. Anybody that has trouble with that, I've heard there's a whole network of podcasts that people that will help you out. There's tons of recorded video. There's tons of stuff. You just let us know. We'll make sure you have somebody hooked up with that can help you publish any cache.
Yeah.
I just did not a Zoom, but
did a
online call with somebody
Google
recently.
Meet, a Google Meet.
To help somebody build a Where-A-Go that they were doing for an event coming up. And we'll do those. That's what all of us do, is we help people do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But so the actual challenge part of this one, for the goodwill part, is hide 2 caches, publish 2 caches during the next 45 days, or whenever you started Monday, whatever else. You track your own 45-day period. And one of them should be one that you're least, if you've never done one of them at all, do one of those, but you're least
comfortable, or the least
the
amount.
one you're least comfortable with, whatever. So you're challenging yourself, right? Don't just go throw 2 LPCs out and be happy with it. Try to challenge yourself a little bit. That'll get you make creative, whatever. That creativity may be like we mentioned, a creative T1 cache. We don't even have to go into all the reasons why that's a good idea. We've done shows on that. But do something that pushes you a little bit out of your comfort zone, but publish 2 good caches that you're proud of.
Yeah, because this is a way, it's 2-pronged, right? So it's going to challenge you a little bit, but it's also going to give back to the game, because there are a ton of new cachers now who are looking for awesome, really cool geocaches to find. So let's keep these people in the game. We don't want these people to go away now that restaurants are open and all the things. Let's keep these people here by putting out some cool stuff. So
find out the rare DTs in your area and publish those. You will make a lot of people happy if you do that. There's so many people that are looking for, finish their finishing their fizzy the correct way, and they'll be very grateful. And how this kind of comes back to you, the part why I put this in here, one, you're giving something back, but it pays back quickly, because I mentioned Earth Caches earlier, and I put a lot of those out recently, and I get some really good emails on those from people, and I'll answer every single one, and they're like, thank you so much. I feel comfortable doing this. It was a good one, and it took me to a nice area, and it's really nice, and I didn't feel like overwhelmed with it. And you get some really good stories, and that really fires you up. When you get those on the caches that you own, you get way fired up. Adventure Labs, there you go. Any cache type counts. So I just created 2 new Adventure Labs for the Route 66 series this past weekend. That's a huge series coming up. And
we did some for the Lincoln Highway series.
Waymarks even count. I would say Waymarks even count, right? Those are brand new. It's not your standard type, but put them out there. Try it. There's a brand new app for it, so try it out. All right, you want to go to the next one?
Okay, so we did social, goodwill. Now we're up to vision. Okay. So vision, what can you do to expand your geocaching vision? So our challenge to you is to identify and begin, not necessarily finish, but begin working on 3 new challenges that you weren't working on before COVID. So find 3 challenges out there, identify those, and just start working on them. You don't have to finish them within 45 days. It's probably, I don't know, some people might be able to.
You may be able to, you may not, depending on what challenges you pick, right? Yeah. This is all up to you.
And then put it out there. Put it out there in the universe so that people know you're working on it, so that you're held accountable at this point. Tell your caching friend, hey, I'm going to start working on Jasmer right now, so that they know, and they're going to ask you about it next time.
So UDEC has a good question. So all of this, or combination,
I think
it's all of it. Yeah. So every single, this is hard to do in the next 40. You can do it all in the next 45 days. Absolutely. And here's the thing. There's going to be 6 different things. If you do 4 of the 6, and you can't get to the other 2, are you still moving yourself forward with a lot of new goals that you haven't done? Of course you are. So this, you don't get any money for this. This is just to get us all fired back up. You do as much as you can. You set your own goals, just like the souvenirs that we were just looking through that HQ puts out. That's all up to you. You do exactly what you want, and we'll have all these listed in the notes, obviously, afterwards.
And we'll come up with some social media graphics too to kind of put it out there too.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll share that, and they've already started putting hashtag GTN45 in there, which is great. All right, put it on social media and share it and get other people fired up.
So that's our vision. So 3 new challenges. Identify, just start working on them. 3 challenges that you weren't working on before COVID.
But the important thing is to put it out there in the universe, right? Whether you hashtag it and put it on Instagram and Facebook, or do a public bookmark list and say what you're doing with it. The whole point is identify ones that you want to work on, and then let people know. We all know that if you put a goal out there, it's a lot more of a chance that you're going to actually do it if you let somebody know that you're trying to do it.
And also, there may be others out there who want to work on the fizzy, or who want to work on Jasmer, who want to work on a streak, but they're like, oh, I don't know. Well, now if they see you doing it, they're like, oh, cool. can I join along? Because it's a lot more
Yes.
fun and sometimes easy to do things with someone else than it is all alone. So that could be fun too.
So go to this one next.
All right. So next we're on to intellectual. So how do we improve our mind?
No. Skip to this one because you got them out of order.
I don't have them out of order. What are you doing?
This was 3. This is 4.
Oh, you're right. I did do that.
That's okay. That's
Sorry.
okay.
We're skipping it.
We're skipping because
I forgot.
You'll notice the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I know. Well,
Okay.
I kind of forgot we did that. So let's go to character. So we want everybody in the game to have good character, not be out, trashing stealing people's containers or taking apart gadget caches or all the things. Like we
know all the bad stuff that happens, but we want to be part of the good stuff that happens,
We want to be part of the
right?
good. So your challenge is within the next 45 days, go out and stock 4 caches with swag.
Not your own.
Go out and find someone else's cache who's maybe a little low on swag and go to the dollar store or make some swag at home or whatever and go put some swag in 4 caches.
Yeah, this is totally what you want to do, right? You can go to the dollar store and buy 4 toys and stock them and you've met the challenge, right? Mm-hmm. Or, I still have it on my refrigerator right now. I've talked about it before. I found it outside of a drive-in movie theater one time. It was a cache, it's full ammo can cache, but somebody had made homemade, I don't even know what they're called, but magnets, and then there was like the clear thing on the top with the little icons in them. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. It's super simple. It probably cost them 50 cents to make, but it was each of the individual, there we go. It was each of the individual icons for the caches back then, and it was a magnet that just goes in your fridge, and we've hung notes on it for years. And it was just... You
know what I see a lot now are the painted rocks.
Oh, painted rocks. I love those.
Painted rocks.
And I never really thought I would, but it's just, it's like, have a nice day. And you're like, you know what? I will. I think I will.
Yeah. And we keep those. We're like,
do some.
Those are awesome.
And we trade.
Well, But
go stock 4 caches. So go to 4 caches, stock them with whatever level of whatever you think it is, whatever you think is neat to put out there, whatever you would like to find. And nobody's going to know you did it. I mean, yeah, you can advertise it all you want, but you don't get any smileys for that. It's just you added something to your area when you did that. So,
all right. So number 5, and we talked about this as being something that we've kind of taken on in our journey, but health.
No, you're skipping. We're back to intellectual.
Intellect. See, I meant to reorder this.
Is there something about if you forget the intellectual one a few times? There's some.
Well, we won't even go into that. All right. So intellect. Sorry, intellect. 5 puzzles. Solve. You don't have to go find them. Just find 5 puzzles.
Anywhere in the world. Yeah.
Anywhere in the world. Who was it? There was somebody on your show recently, or maybe somebody we were talking. Oh, I know. It was somebody we met at Mingo. Mm-hmm. And it was somebody who came by the Geocache Talk Network booth. And she said one of her favorite things is solving puzzles for caches in Australia. Because one day she wants to go there. And she's like, and when I get there, I'm going to have all of these puzzles solved. Mm-hmm. So she knows that this year, she's not going to go to Australia and find those caches, but she loves solving the puzzles over there, and it's fun. It kind of keeps the brain sharp, but it's also just kind of cool because now you've got these in your back pocket if you ever do go to that place.
Well, and as you'll notice, the theme of this whole thing. So to meet this challenge, you solve 5 puzzles anywhere in the world.
All right, hang on. Phil, if you stock the caches, show his post up there. Phil, if you stock them with spiders, I will come hunt you down. Because that that should have been my pet peeve.
Okay. So
I'm definitely afraid.
Remember that one with the spider that jumped out that we found? Okay. Anyway, so solve 5 puzzles. As you'll notice with the theme of this, you can solve 5 1 difficulty puzzles if you want to. Whatever you're up to. Or 5 difficulty puzzles. Solve where you want to find them. It could be someplace that Paris. If you never think you're going to go to Paris, it doesn't matter. The whole point is just solving the puzzles. Now, obviously, Tom and Charles can help you with that. If you have any puzzle issues, we have a whole show for that. So, not that I want to
how convenient
plug Puzzle Talk or anything. I know we have a show for that too, right? But obviously, if you're not a puzzle person, this may be the most daunting part of this. The easy way to do that is, Puzzle Talk guys. Obviously, they'll help out anybody, but reach out to another cacher, which is another added benefit of this. Say, hey, I want some help solving a puzzle. Then you got it. You've connected and you've solved a puzzle, right? Plus, solve puzzles of whatever you like. If you Google puzzles, anything you're interested in, I guarantee you there's a puzzle out there.
Yeah, speaking English is unless
you
you're
speak other
bilingual
languages,
or trilingual,
which we know several
people
are
Yeah.
that listen to the show.
That's right.
So just solve 5 puzzles. That can be any level of puzzle you want.
Yep.
But so this is scalable to whoever you are.
Right.
All right.
All right. So finally, number 6 is health, because I have talked to lots of people even before now who have used geocaching as a way to kind of get out and get healthy. Like we did after your hip replacement. That's how you got out and started walking again and moving.
Both of them, actually.
Yeah. Was to get out and find caches. I've talked to a lot of people who will use it as a health journey. So
I got to show it. All right, Phil, you just lost a friend.
Phil, Phil, oh Lord have mercy.
Phil says he has a cache with an 18-inch Halloween spider.
Oh man,
the CFO will never come find that cache.
So, right, so health. So 6, we're on number 6. Find 6 caches that require some sort of fitness or movement, and that can be anything. You can be walking. You can go. There are tons of little caches along walking trails. You can bike. If you're out here in Colorado, we love to hike out here, so you can go hiking. You could go kayaking, kayak caches. Anything that's gonna generate some sort of movement where you feel like, that was a nice little workout.
The important part of this, as you know, one of our passions on this show too is everybody can cache, right? This is along the same thing. This is absolutely scalable to whoever you are.
Right.
If you're Zach and you can hang off of bridges and do stuff like that,
then go do that.
It's harder to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
If you're not and you have less mobility, do what you feel is it fits the challenge for you.
Yeah.
What is healthy for you to do? We are absolutely not advocating anybody put themselves in a dangerous situation. I like to do that for myself, but I don't advise that for anybody else.
I'm not going to go scuba dive for caches because I'm scared of that. You know? And I would probably have a coronary at the bottom of the ocean, and that would be it. And it would be sad.
So with this one,
is within your...
we mentioned fitness, but this is your level of health. Yeah. So, and we have family members that don't have full mobility. We would not tell them to go out and do this kind of thing. We would tell them to do what they feel comfortable with to their level. So completely scalable. We want everybody to have fun, not endanger themselves. Caches that get your heart up. Good job, Direwolf.
Yeah,
Class like this is caches to get your heart rate up. That's a good way too.
That is good.
Do what pushes your comfort zone, but is safe for you. There's no point in going to get a cache if you have to go to the hospital, which has come close a couple times. But
not me.
Yeah, me. But so that's the health part of it, right? Do something that challenges you a little bit for your health. And it kind of pushes you past your comfort zone. So do you want to go back through all of them real quick?
So let's do a recap. So number 1 is social. Attend one event. It can be virtual, in person, whatever.
If you want your +1 on that one, host your event.
Yeah. Number 2, goodwill. Hide or publish 2 caches. Try to make one of them something you haven't published. Okay, UDAC and Phil.
The spider cache will qualify again.
It would get your
again. For you.
All right. But number two, goodwill. So hide or publish 2 caches. Try to make one of them one that you either don't publish often or have never published.
And there's no excuses on that one because Tom's it's all going to be on the website. This is
not a good recap when you get interrupted.
I know, but that's what I do. Okay. Yes, we'll put it up on the website too. So there's no excuses for publishing. The +1 on this one is do both of them something new. There's no excuse for not publishing something new because you have unlimited free access to tons of people that will help you do any of these things. So we want to do that. This is not about making money. This is not about charging anybody. We will absolutely walk you through anything we can help you do or hook you up with somebody that can. So you have the resources for that.
All right. So 1 was social. 2, goodwill. 3, vision. Identify and start working on 3 new challenges that you weren't working on before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 4, character. Go out there and stock 4 caches with some sort of swag.
The +1 is make your own swag.
Why are you adding +1s? You're making this harder for everybody.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. That's a good point. All right, number 5, intellect. Solve 5 puzzles. They can be anywhere. You don't even have to find them. Just solve 5. And 6, do something that finds 6 caches that require some sort of like fitness or getting your heart rate up or I don't know, something fun like Coon and Bud. Coon and Bud says, hey, you don't do any of those biking, kayaking, or hiking in Arkansas. I remember there are all kinds of critters out there that can get you. So yeah, just do something that kind of gets you going. What are some other good examples?
I'm trying to answer so
For number 6.
Teresa asked, where do we find the show notes? They will be on the website. So we'll have those put up. It'll probably be a day or so because everybody's out of town that normally the part of the network that helps us get all the tech stuff done. But then we'll put them up on the website. We'll also put them on social media.
We will.
We'll put them out everywhere.
So what's some other good examples for number 6?
So
I'm not thinking of.
Scalable to all levels, right?
Yeah.
So let's say like we've had guests on before. If you're in a chair, and that's the way you get around, do one that's comfortable for where you're at. Just go a little further. Make sure it's healthy.
I like what Dire Wolf said. Go find a cache where you're like, oh, there could be a spider in there. That's scary.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Do downtown area where you have to. You may laugh at me, but this is one of the ones that I get less excited by climbing a tree than I do by trying to be super sneaky, stealthy in public.
And you know what? We're also forgetting one really important piece of health and fitness, and that's sunshine. Just getting outdoors.
Get outside. Yeah.
Yeah. So if that means you find 6 caches, you drive, you hop out, and you find 6 LPCs. If you got out and you got some sunshine 6 times, that's a big deal. Like that.
Yeah. Here's some great ideas here too. Look, so walking instead of driving would count. Yep. You have the ability to do that. Do that. Here's one that's recent. Park a little further from GZ. Yeah. Say you're a completely urban cacher and that's all you have in your area. Just park a little further.
Yeah. Yeah. Park a little further from the LPC.
Or walk along the route. If it's in your neighborhood,
absolutely
go the opposite way and kind of circle around.
Yeah.
Again, all of this is honor system, right? This is to help all of us get fired back up again by doing some specific tasks, which just like HQ when they do the souvenirs, it's fun just to do something a little different, a different layer on it.
Yep, absolutely. And then when you go out and do things, so here's what's really exciting. So all of these things, like these 6 things, Jesse's already done 1,000 times. So the challenge really is for me to do a lot of this because like I told you guys before, I'm not a big cache hider. I've helped Jesse solve puzzles that were like science related because I know healthcare stuff, but I've never actually sat down and solved puzzles myself. So I'm going to really work hard and try to do all 6 of these things over the next 45 days. So I'm going to be putting it out there on social media. You guys, if you guys are on social media, put it out there and hashtag it. What's the hashtag we're going to use? Because
I like GTN45. That's pretty good. They came up with that one, yeah.
So hashtag, put that on the bottom.
Okay.
So hashtag that with GTN45 so that we see that you're doing this. And then at the end of 45 days, and I don't know if Gary's still on the show or not because we haven't told him this yet, but we want to sort of do a little recap show and see how you guys did. Like, did doing these 6 things, did that really get your mojo back and get you out there really fired up about caching if you weren't? Or maybe you are fired up, but you just are struggling like us, finding the time to insert this back into your routine. Like, did this help to do that? I want to know. I want to know what everybody did.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to some people that see if this helps somebody. And this is going to be different for everybody, right? Like, I think somebody mentioned, like, Direwolf did all these things last week because he's already fired up. That's great.
That's awesome.
Somebody else hasn't done any. Like, so you're a good example.
I'm a good example.
So let's. Before we run long, let's run through that real quick. Let's see how we're going to do this. So number 1, you're going to host your own event. You got to do a +1. Oh, no. We have a community event we need to host.
I didn't agree to all these +1s.
I know. We're doing it live on the show. So you're going to do.
Where did the 45 come from? We just decided it was a good round.
Well, 45 days. The reason why we did the 45 is because a lot of people, it takes a little longer in their area to publish an event. And that's what kind of extended a lot of these.
Phil, I'm going to send you more spiders. I will go to the dollar store and I'll send you some. You just keep them in your area. Just keep them there.
So, and we looked at what we want to make sure everybody has time to do all these things because some people can do these in one day. Some people can do them. It'll be hard to get in their area in 45 days. So,
and if you can't get them all and you get 3 of these things, that's awesome.
You still made a goal and did it. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you're going to host an event for number 1.
Okay, sure.
We have a community celebration event. You're going to host that.
Okay.
For number 2, you're going to publish 2 caches. You've published 0 caches by yourself.
Guess what?
Ever.
They're not going to be earth caches. That's a secret.
What are they going to be then? You got to call it.
I don't know, but they're not going to be.
It's got to challenge you.
I know. I got to think about
2 different types. Oh, no. They're here.
No, I got to think about it.
Call it right now.
I got to think about it. Do we still have some adventure labs?
We do not. Sorry. You
gave those away.
We have Where It Goes. We have puzzles and challenges. We have earth caches, obviously.
I'll think on it.
Okay.
You know what? Sometimes I struggle to find really quality multis. Maybe I'll do a multi.
There you go. Multis. We haven't done that many. Okay. So you're going to publish 2 caches on your own.
All right.
The challenges.
I'm gonna find 3 new. Now this will be easy for me because I like challenges. So I'll find 3 new challenges. And number 4 was stock caches with swag. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna send Phil some spiders.
So homemade swag. That's your +1.
Look, you're stressing me out now. You're getting me back.
You got 45 days.
I also have to take care of you, which is a lot.
That is a lot.
Yes. All right, 5. I'm gonna solve 5 puzzles, and then I'm gonna do some fitness caching. Whatever that might be.
You're gonna solve 5 puzzles by yourself.
Yes.
Right.
But I get to choose the puzzles.
You absolutely get to choose puzzles.
All right.
But where in the world do you want them to be?
I don't know. Maybe I'll do 5 different continents.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I like that. All right.
That'll be fun.
All right. What was number 6?
Number 6.
Oh, the health one? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I'll get that in. That won't be a problem.
Okay.
So like I said, I want to see people out there and see how you guys do. So put it out there in the universe, #GTN45. Put it out there on Instagram, Facebook, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Come back next week and talk about the.
Oh, look at that.
That is a good idea, Direwolf. I could do health related.
You have actually helped me solve those before. But that was a team up, and I have no idea about medical stuff, so you solved those.
But come back in the chat room week after week for the next few weeks and tell us how things are going.
Social media out there, absolutely.
I'm excited to see what everybody does. I'm gonna do it.
Especially if you go above and beyond for yourself. You don't have to. There's no reason, But at the end of it, we will talk to some people that have completed the challenge, all 6 aspects, and maybe adjust the challenge for the future after that.
Maybe it become a yearly thing.
Because somebody already mentioned maintain their own caches.
I saw that. That's goodwill.
That's genius. I love that. So we may have to incorporate that. This is kind of like the goodwill getting back in, getting back on track challenge. I love it. So what is a health puzzle cache?
There have been some puzzles out there where it's like a lot
medical
of them,
terms.
It'll be medical terms. A lot of times it's teachers putting it out for their students.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like medical terms and healthcare related stuff that Jesse just has no idea. There was one about the heart, like that we had to.
I have a bad heart. Does that help?
But yeah, so.
There was another milestone we went through. Anyway, with geocaching. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. GTN 45. I dig it. I like it.
I hope it will help inspire some people to get back on track. And the ones that are like Direwolf, he's killing it anyway. Maybe he can come up with some things to challenge himself or get somebody else to do it. Maybe that's the second part of it is you talk somebody else into doing it.
If this is too easy for you, put a twist on it. Okay, so.
Oh, look at this. The GTN leaderboard again. You know what? Maybe in the future we can do something like that.
Let's see how this goes, and then maybe we'll do it.
If we can refine this, who knows? We could use that again. We know from talking to Brian that he absolutely wants to use that again in the future. So, it's a fun challenge, but hate hiding geocaches.
I know. This is exactly why you need to do it, Kuna Bud, because...
You can always go for waymarks if you had never done a waymark.
True.
That's a new one, too.
That's true.
And it's testing the new thing for Nick. So, okay.
All right, so wrap up.
That's the challenge. Oh, I want to show my cool little fun graphic.
Put your graphic up again.
I'm proud of that. I made that one all by myself. That's pretty good.
I love this graphic, but put that banana up because I like the banana.
Oh, we got to do the banana? Yeah, this is what we'll do.
You'll get the banana if you win.
That's right.
I know.
Peanut butter jelly time. Okay.
All
So
right.
GTN 45 back on track. Man, that would make a cool patch, wouldn't it?
It would make a cool patch. You should get on that.
Oh, yeah. I'll just sew it up myself. Okay.
All right.
So
we need
wrapping
to wrap
this up. We went through all of them. That's the challenge. We hope that really inspires some people to get the kick in the pants, get the fire going, get back on track. I'm excited to see how you do. It will be exciting for me
No pressure.
to see how you do on these things. No pressure. We didn't tell anybody about it.
See, I really put it out there in the universe.
You
I know
sure
it's
did.
like out there. So
You sure did.
I can't not do it.
Yeah. All right. So closing, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I don't know. I do better when I have goals and a challenge ahead of me. When I don't have goals, I flounder. So this is the perfect type of thing to kind of get me going and get things, like I said, back on track, to get back on track with geocaching and just life.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are too. I know there are some things that are probably going to make some people feel a little uncomfortable. I mean, there are for me. I'm not really wanting to host an event, but hey, it looks like I'm going to have to do it now.
Yeah.
So, so challenge yourself. This is good. I mean, 2020 was hard. It was a hard year. So let's kiss it goodbye. Get out here, challenge yourself to do more and to do better. And
not back to normal, back to better.
Yes, I like that. Not back to normal, back to better. Back to better.
So wrapping up, I would say I'm really looking forward to you doing this because it's going to help me get back on track.
Yep.
And for some people, this is going to be super easy. For some people, it's going to be almost impossible. Challenge yourself with whatever you've got.
Do what you can.
Yeah, do what you can. If, like we talked about the +1, make your own +1. If it's attend an event, that's too easy for you. Host an event's too easy for you. Host a CETO. Help somebody else host an event.
CETOs,
Goodwill. If it's stocking 4 caches too easy for you, make some super cool swag and stock 10 caches. Do whatever is good for you. And hopefully this will really get us all back on track. Everybody has a super quick time to start because we're going to be off next week. Don't forget the Sunday show, 4th of July, spend time with your family, go caching, start on your 45-day challenge. Log it for yourself. Put it out there in the universe. It's always better for goals if you put it out there in the universe.
And tell us how you're doing, and we'll reshare. We'll reshare to the rest of the universe too.
Yeah, we really want to see how everybody is doing on this. Yeah. So please let us know, and that's it for us.
That's all we got. You guys have a good weekend, good rest of your week, and have a safe holiday weekend next weekend.
Till everybody, good night.
Good night.
May your finds be many, and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.